Well, hello, my little beauties, and welcome to this live stream with me, David Connolly, the web developer extraordinaire. It's Saturday, and for me that means it's live coding day. I actually, for anyone who doesn't know, I stream live pretty much every day coding. Yesterday, I think I did about 7 or 8 hours. Um, I think. Anyway, it was a long day, and there's a private members area, and if you like hanging out and if you don't want to not code alone, well, you can come on board if you want. The options there. But today I'm going to be doing a wee bit of work on an open source project, and it's going to be the documentation for the Trongate framework. And what a good week it has been. There's something I want to show you. If I take you over to the repository here, this is our new documentation. It's not yet like published as such, but this is the thing being built. And if you look at the contributors there, and I do hope that you can see the screen, if you look at the contributors, you'll see that our top contributor is Gavin Cox. Isn't that fantastic? And it just goes to show that this really is a community project, and it's certainly not the David Connolly Roadshow. And we're so lucky to have so many people involved. And Simon and Balaz there have both done some really great work as well, which is really great and fantasticola, you know. Now, today I'm going to be doing a reasonably short live stream here, and I want to just get these class things working. Yesterday was horrendous because I was building a feature that let this thing work. Now, if you look very closely, here's our file class, and it has an upload method. So I wanted this thing here so that people could click and see at a glance how this works. I'm going to press escape, and that's cool. Now, that's called upload. By the way, I just noticed a mistake, but I'll come on to that in a minute. If I go to the image class, this also has an upload method, but as you can see, we now have this clear differentiation going on. So if we have the same method name in different classes, it's all fine. And the way that that works is if I just inspect here, well, what you do, in fact, it's probably best if I just show you this on the screen, is you would do I'm not getting any autocomplete help here, but you would do this. You would say span class is feature ref, like that. So normally you would have the function name or the method name here. So let's just assume it was upload. And it doesn't matter if you add in parenthesis or not, really doesn't matter. But when you do that, then that's all you have to add to the documentation, and some JavaScript is going to automatically kick in and give us these fabulous little info windows here. So that's pretty much how it works. Now, if you happen to have more than one class that has a method of this name, then all you would do, and it's a new thing, so I do have to just reference this and just to be sure. But what we're looking at, can we see it on the screen? There we go. We would say data class equals, and then you add in the name of the class. So if it's the file class, you would say file. That's all you have to do. If it was the image class, obviously you would say image or whatever. So that's all we have to add if you reference a function or a method or something like that. I might add other things later on, by the way. And when you do that, the JavaScript kicks in, and just look at the beautiful end result here. Now, by the way, this data-class equals was a suggestion that was made in a video in one of the comments just a few days ago right here on YouTube. And it just goes to show that this is the framework where you get to decide how stuff gets built. So thanks for the suggestion. I have to say, by the way, building that was it's so funny. That took me 7 hours to build, you know. Web development's strange that way, isn't it? And it's strange when you spend ages on something and then the demo's like 2 seconds. But at least we got there. Now, I'm probably on my own. I've just spontaneously started this. Well, I'll get 3 people, that's cool. So what I want to do now then is continue on our little journey of adding in these different bits and pieces. I'm going to start with the file class, and let me just bring up an instance of the Trongate framework so that I kind of have some idea of what I'm talking about, you know. Okay, so I've got the file class, which is here, and we've also got, and a lot of work was done on this file class. A whole lot of work was done here. Gavin had uploaded these fabulous feature ref helpers for the file class just a few days ago. But unfortunately, he deleted the pull request, which is a little bit of a downer. So I'm going to quickly go through this right now. Once I've done the file class, I may turn my attention to the modules class, perhaps. So the modules class is, again, if I show you the Trongate framework, you can see that we've got an engine directory. All of these files here, the ones in uppercase at least, are usually classes. So here's modules. Now the thing about the modules class is it's only got one method, but maybe that will change. Who knows? All right. So now you know what's going to happen, and I'm going to bring up the employee of the month for this. So there's not going to be anything particularly intelligent happening today, I have to tell you. So if we go into the file class, here's our upload thing, and it works just fine. So the idea here is we look for public function. Anything that says public function, I know that that's a bit small. So public function. So we've done upload, and you can see that there's one for info here. Now I'm going to copy this. This mouse of mine is, I don't know what's going on. I think the battery's going. Anyway, I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to go to Trongate docs. Now there's a thing here that says contributor notes, and I'm going to just paste in this info thing here. Then I'm going to select all, head to ChatGPT, paste that in, and I've now asked ChatGPT to do the magic and just produce the HTML code for us here. And here it is. It's really, really cool. And how much time does this save? So I'll copy that. Then I would head into API reference, class reference, the file class, and we make a new file here. Now this is called info.html. The docs does not use a database, it's just HTML files. And that decision was made to just encourage people to get involved. So this is all on GitHub, and you can easily make changes and so on. So there's our little info thing, and if we click, there it is, and a whole bunch of interesting stuff. We've got a use case example, and that is not too bad. Okay, so let's now backtrack here. Okay, so we're going to do the next one, and it is a little bit boring, I know, but what can you do? So the next one we've got is create directory. This is a new one, so I'm copying that. Back to the contributor notes, and here's the question that we ask ChatGPT. Why bother thinking these days when you can have something like this? You know, it's funny. I think Trongate was the first PHP framework that used AI to generate code. I'm pretty sure of it. I remember tweeting that one out. Like, it was, I'm pretty sure it was within 24 hours of ChatGPT being launched. And there's nothing up with that, you know. So here we go. File class, new file. So this one is called create directory. We say .html. Save it, paste in, and here you go. Now, I'll chuck the repository name into the chat room here in case anybody wants to look at this. But there's create directory. It's a bit of a shame that that's going on to the next line there, but I think we'll just live with it for the moment. Okay, so that's create directory, and the repository for anybody who's interested is here. There we go. Look at how unpopular I am, but that's all right. That's okay. All right. So these are functions that arguably we don't even need, but they were suggested, and I suppose it gives us a little bit of well, I asked ChatGPT, in fact, is there any point? Okay, so this is called exists. And there is a point, actually. It can potentially give you a lot more control over how these things work. So PHP does have file exists, but this is just an alternative framework method. Go ask ChatGPT about the benefits of doing this, and I'm sure you'll get a fabulous essay. So for, now let me look here. For the file class, it's a new thing. It's called exists.html. Pasting in. Now the only thing is with these pre-things here, you have to make sure that that's really up close to this. Otherwise you get this annoying extra white space. So you can see that we've now got exists, and just look at that. Isn't that fantastic? All right. So let's go back to the framework. So that is exists done. The next one is called read. And again, you could have used file get contents, but these are just, I mean, apart from anything else, I think it makes the framework seem a little bit more complete, you know? So here comes our question, and just think of the amount of time that this saves. Okay, there we go. So we're copying, and then in our file class, it's a new file. Oh, pardon me, I've already made read.html. So we paste in, bringing in this pre-tag here, a little tidy up down here, save. And now there it is right there, reads the contents of a file. And it gives us an example and everything. It's absolutely fantastic. All right, loving it. So let's now head in to this again, and we'll get the next one. We're about halfway through this here. So this is called write. I honestly don't even know if I'll ever use this, but I do think it's good that we've got this stuff, you know? Okay, so here's the right one. And again, look at all of the work that we're being saved from having to do here. Okay, so I'm going to copy that. New file, write.html. Saving it, pasting in. I have a little tidy up down here. And now if we refresh, there's write. And we've got our examples as well. I think that's excellent. All right. moving on. I'll just close this. Okay, so the next one is delete. All right. So chuck in this one and we'll hopefully get a nice little HTML snippet here. Can you imagine how long this would take if you never had ChatGPT? I mean, I think weeks, you know? Okay, so on our file class, it's delete.html. Pasting in a little tidy up. And so now there's delete. And there you go. Really, really nice. We are going to have the best docs of any PHP framework. None of the other frameworks have this, you know. And I've always felt that it's a real drag when you're trying to read docs and you have to jump backwards and forwards looking up things, you know. This seems a wee bit overcomplicated. Interesting. Anyway, I've never used this one, but we'll chuck it in anyway. Okay. So copy that. Heading back here. So in our file class, we're going to say new file, download.html. Then we'll paste this in, a little tidy up, saving and refreshing, and there we go. So this prepares and sends headers based on the parameters to either initiate a download, checks if the file exists and is readable before proceeding. I actually don't entirely know. Let me just check this. Could you improve the HTML content by adding an example of how to use download with as attachment? Now, let me just figure this out. Yeah, let's get an example with as attachment set to false. Also, please do feel free to elaborate on the purpose and usage of the as attachment argument if you feel that would be helpful for the documentation. So, pardon me, that was the first response I had that was a little bit weak. And if I'm looking at this and I'm not sure what it means, then maybe other people would feel the same. or display inline. False. Okay. So I'm going to look at the function itself. So here's our as attachment thing. No. Read file and send it to the output buffer. All right. Can you explain what read file does? It reads a file and outputs its content directly to the output buffer without loading the entire file into memory. All right. Fair enough. I'll just keep it as it is. I must admit, I'm a wee bit nervous about that one, but I hope. I'm sure if it's dodgy, there'll be an entire multitude of people onto it, you know? All right. So, initiates a file download, or I hate the way that it jumps a bit when I select like that. Anyway, it does that or displays inline, prepares, sends headers, blah, 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 blah. Or displayed inline. If set to true, the browser will prompt the user to download the file. Otherwise, it gets displayed directly in the browser. All right, fair enough, fair enough. So moving on, let's get the next one. So we're looking for methods that say public function. Those are the ones, actually the only ones that get documentation. Okay, here we go. All right. That looks fair enough. So that one's called list directory. So list directory.html, and then tidying up here. I think that's cool. So looking in here, there you go. List of files, it returns an array, and there, oh geez, look at the example usage. Now that's a little bit dodgy. Try this again. List directory. Okay. If you were going to add comments onto above each of the two examples below, and if the comments were going to outline the differences between the examples, what would the comments say? Yeah, we'll have a wee comment here just being absolutely clear. There you go. So there it is. And there it is. So we're looking at list directory. And now you can see something like that. All right, 3 cheers for us. Next, moving on. And we've not got too many more to go here. Okay. So this is our new copy method, which is now part of the file class. And I mean, I'm struggling to see where I'll use stuff like this, but hopefully it'll be useful for somebody out there. You never know. And it certainly feels nice to be building this framework that is really a complete framework, you know? All right. So there's copy. Copy's a file from one location to another. There it goes. Nice. I just thought of something, but I don't want to make life too complicated. And I was just thinking, is throwing an exception really the best way of handling that? Don't know. I mean, if it fails, would it not be better to return false? Hmm. Well, I suppose we've got try catch, you know? Anyway, here comes move. And as usual, we'll tighten this part here up. Saving it. So it moves a file from one location to another. Looks fine. All right, that's cool. Nearly there. So that's a private function, and I think that's it. Okay, so that is indeed it. That's the all of the file class things done. So now what I'm going to do is send this up to GitHub here. Now I'm using source tree. So let me show you this. Okay. And again, if you're watching, Gavin, I was hoping I could have used your files, and I'm sure they would have been excellent, but I couldn't find them, you know. So I'm just going to say added feature refs for the file class. So we say commit, then send it up to the sky. And there it is. Okay. So now if you have a look on GitHub here at the repo, and if you go to Trongate docs/commits, there you can see it says added feature refs for the file class. And by the way, remember I was saying that this is HTML? Well, the whole point of this is that you can now just look at these things without even having a database. For example, here's our file class, and if you look, it's just HTML, you see. So if there's any typos or anything, people are welcome to go on and either submit issues or pull requests or anything. So that was why we did it with just plain HTML here. All right, and look at how unpopular I am. This might be my last live coding stream for a while as far as public things go. I'll keep the members ones going, but this is possibly going to be my last public one for a while because I've got a couple of things coming up that I don't know if I can broadcast, you know. Nothing dodgy, but it's client stuff, you know. Anyway, right, file class now done. So, having done the file class, we've now got the file class done. We've now got the image class done. I'm not going to do the model. I'm not going to do pagination. I'm not going to do any of the others. But one of the ones that I think I would like to do is this modules class, believe it or not. So if we say class reference, so the way it works is you say we get a new folder, and I'm going to say the modules class. There it is right there. Now the modules class has only got one method, at least for now, you know. And that method is called run. So let's do the magic again. Here we go. All right. That's not a bad answer. I don't know why it said div class as container there. Is that something that we're... Yeah, it is. Yes, it is. Okay. So new file, run.html. Okay. So, oh, it's messed up. It's messed up. Bad response. Please note that, okay, this is part of a modules class. Please also favor snake case where possible when all right. So we didn't quite get it there. Now, I think I'll also Okay. I'm going to show an example of this being used. Okay. Also, here's an example of the run method being used, and the following code would be inside a view file. All right. Good. Okay. All right, so I'll tidy this thing up a wee bit. Let's have a look at what we've got. So there's modules. Run a module's controller action. This method dynamically loads and executes a controller action within a module. The controller action is specified in the God, that's a terrible description. The example is terrible as well. Okay. I'd like you to improve the description. The description should indicate that this is a static method that, pardon me, is designed to be invoked from within view files. The run method should indicate that the run method is designed to invoke Right. Also, can you please simplify the description? I'd like the most uh, basic example possible, and I'd like your example to show the use of PHP short tags. All right. That's a bit better. Okay, so we're looking at the description here. Invokes a controller method within a module. I'm going to change this word to method. Okay, now looking at the example usage here, I'm going to bet that won't display right. All right, so the example's pretty garbage, I think it's safe to say. Okay, can this do less than? And what does it do if you do that? It can do them all. All right, well, I'll go with that. I'll just do my own example. Modules, run, messages. Uh, all right. Probably not the best example in the universe, this. Okay. Let's try another. Let's try accounts display. Hmm. display. Well, let me get this right. We'll just say display profit. So something like that. Modules run accounts, display profit. Maybe pass in a little Alright, I think that's it. So let me just check if the I don't even need this to say example, do I? Right, that's cool. So, jeez. Why is it saying controller action? Oh, well, I just noticed something. Can you modify the following method so that it favors snake case where possible? Thank you. Can you also refrain from using the word action? Instead, I would prefer you to use the word method, but only if this is still going to produce a technically correct response. I forgot a question mark. I can see that your response still uses action in at least one variable name. To be clear, I do not want action to appear anywhere in your response. This is for the Trongate framework documentation, and in Trongate we favor the word method. Is my decision to effectively swap the word action with method technically sound? Good. So I'm going to copy that. And it's our modules thing. Okay. So that represents an update. Please note I have included the entire class so that you have an indication of the broader context of the method and hopefully a better understanding of how it works. All right, here we go again. I never realized that that was using a camel case and all of that strange technique, stuff. Run a module controllers method. There you go. Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to rename this one as run orig. We'll have a new one called run.html. And let's just compare the two of these things. So now that just says run a module controllers method. This one says invokes a controller method within a module. Neither of those are great. So run a modules controller method. Okay. So what I'll do is I'm going to copy this, paste in. So this static method is specifically designed to be called from presentation files such as view files. It dynamically invokes a modules controller method. Right, that's a better description. So when we do that, this static method dynamically invokes a modules controller method. It is specifically and is this static description. Let's just do it like this. All right. Dynamically invokes a modules controller method and is specifically designed to be called from presentation files. Within presentation files, such as dynamically invokes a modules controller method and is specifically designed to be called from within presentation files such as view files. So Okay, that's cool. Now on the original one here, I felt that the accounts example was a wee bit more appropriate. So now if we do that, so example usage, modules run accounts, display profit, data, something like that, you know. And I think that that's kind of good. All right. Now, anything else we can do with this? If we look at the Trongate framework, and this has been on my mind for a while, we've got a Trongate class here that has a thing called module. Now, okay, I'm going to open up a little sample app here. All right, now let's just do a very simple method here. Okay, and then I'm going to say this module greeting, this greeting, oh pardon me, welcome, and I'm going to invoke greeting with a name. So it does that, fine. But let's imagine we decided to say this modules load greeting. And then imagine if we decided to do this. Well, of course, that's going to get an error because load does not exist. So let's go into the Trongate class here. And we're going to call this thing load. Ah, now that's a slight challenge. Get child module. Right, where does get child module get referenced? Okay, we can probably get away with this. So get child module. Going to copy that, head in here, paste in. Unable to load greeting module. Well, at least it gave us a sensible error. Echo target controller path. So it's trying to load up modules greeting controller's greeting. And I think that could not find that. Found that. So it's saying it cannot find that. Now let's imagine that we said could not find that. Oh, hang on a minute. I put in the wrong darn thing. We load up welcome. That's how we do it. And then that does that. So how cool is that? So what we've just done here is we've built a load thing here. Yeah, I like it. I don't know about this comment though. And I don't even entirely know about this stuff. So I'm going to go like this. Get the employee of the month, doing a wee bit of work for us here. That's good. Oh, Coco, give me a wee break, will ya? So loads the specified modules controller. I'm going to do the same with this one. Hello, my wee Coco. This cat is moaning. Come here, you. Where are you? Come here. Hello, you. Hello, my wee pal. Are you hiding? Ha ha ha. How are you doing, wee Coco? Oh, yes, that's my wee friend. How are you doing, my wee pal? It's good to see you. All right. Shouldn't the return type be that? Okay. So now we get this. Thank you. Can you please add dot blocks type hinting? and return types onto this method. Now, taking into account the fact that it invokes, potentially invokes get child module. Have to get this right, you know. And I think that they're now both done correct. So 3 cheers for us. All right. Little indentation. Beautiful. All right. Now, that, if I save it, works. But now I'm going to do the unthinkable. I'm going to go to the Trongate class here. And I'm going to just say fail. And I'm going to take get child module here. And I'm going to completely remove that from the Trongate class. So tasks, test, I don't know. Oh yeah. So there you can see it says hello John, right? And what we want to do is bring this thing back to life, which is the normal way that we would load a module. And as you can see, it says fail, but we're gonna do this. If module gets called, we're gonna return modules, load, and this takes in a target module here. Like that. I'm going to comment all of this out. So a void function must not return a value. Oh, pardon me. All right. So modules, load, it. You can see here it says returns void. In that case, we don't return anything. We just... Now, unfortunately, we're getting this thing here that says modules is not found. So if I then say require modules.php, then modules is new modules. Ha ha ha. Now, a couple of things I want to just check. Did I need that? Yes, I did. Did I need that? I did not need that. I did not need that. That's a surprise. Must be the the autoloader or something. So I'm going to take a wild guess. Where that says upload picture require once image, I don't think we need it. I don't even think we need that, but tell you what, I won't go too far ahead of myself. I'll look into that later on. But for the moment, now module. Yeah, so now I'm just going to say, can you add doc blocks to this? Loads of module using the module class return void. Now that's excellent. And it's better than what we had. So, what was the point of all of this? You may ask. Well, I've always had this problem with Trongate, which is that we've got a thing called module and a thing called modules, you know. And it just seems a bit weird. But now module can be thought of, which is in the Trongate class. Module can be thought of as just being an alias of calling modules load. Do you know what I mean? So, with that being the case, I'm going to copy this. I'm going to head over to the docs here. And I think that this is starting to now make sense, you know, at least to me. Because it was a wee bit strange. We've got like module and modules, and these are different classes, and it just looks like repetition. So what do you do? Well, the answer is, instead of breaking stuff, we just say the magic words. The magic words are, it's an alias. Two things. I'm all right. How are you doing? Oh, geez, how's it going? Okay, cool. Well, well done, and I hope it all turns out for the best. I'm sure it will. For the beach. All right, okay. That's cool. Do you think they'll be gone in the sea and stuff like that? Very brave. Right. Yep. Okay. Mm-hmm. Right, okay, okay. That's excellent. Um, good. Oh, you know, same old here. Nothing particularly exciting happening. I'm just working through the um yeah, I'm just working through a wee bit of documentation stuff. That watch went for Okay, so that's pretty darn good. Um, I feel quite good about that, and we've done a little bit of work on the what the heck have I done work on? So I've done work on modules, and I've also done work on the Trongate class itself. Now, okay, I'm going to try just one more method that I'd like to have working on this. So I'm going to say um, my modules is this modules, and I'm going to load up list. Now, of course, nothing happens. So function list, I'm going to say, okay, we knew that would work, right? Now, if we go to this file class here, I'm seeing list directory. So let's say file list directory, and I'm just going to put in app path. And it doesn't have a clue what to do. So let's say file is new file. Access to this path is restricted. Okay, so let's say app path modules. Access to this path is restricted. File 309. All right, let's say target path is okay. Access to this path is restricted on file 309. Why is that? Is valid path. I think this has got an error in it. Okay, let me echo normalized path. Right. Now, for each of the restricted, okay, let's just clarify what this is doing here. Normalized path, like that. That's what we're looking for, right? As we loop through each of these, I'm going to go like this. So applications, H2, V2, config engine templates. So this code here is a bit strange. I think what we should have said was in array. If what's in the array, if the normalized path is in the array of restricted directories, then we return false. And the path is inside a restricted directory. So we go like that. Now I'm going to just echo cool. So we know that we're okay. Now, to be crystal clear, if we had said something like, if we had said something like modules, damn. Pardon me, engine. You're not allowed to list engine stuff. So now it gives us a fatal error. That is perfect. All right, but we're talking about modules. Now, file, that, so that just checks if the path's valid. I don't like this code here. Right, let's just look at restricted directories. So let's just say app path. There you go. Good. So that improves that. So now, list, we've got a target path. result is that. There you go. And that's now given us a list of the stuff there. If I go to File, List Directory, we've got a recursive thing here. And if I add in comma through, you can see that it drills down and gives us all of the other stuff. So, target path is that, and then existing modules is that, and then we're going to return existing modules. There it is, right there. So this is going to be a public function. There it is. So now we're going to take this little beauty here, get type hinting, return types, and all of that stuff happening. List all existing modules. Okay. Thanks. I'd like to improve the method. The method list invokes the following. I would as you can see, list directory can accept a second argument which indicates whether or not the listing should be recursive. Can you please improve the list method so that an argument may be optionally added to indicate if the modules should be listed recursively? That's it. So heading back here, we've now got this. So that means that we can add in a value of true and it will do it recursively, or we can leave it out. And that, my friends, is a beautiful modules class, which is now going to be part of the Trongate framework. So we're now heading into modules here. Pasting in. There it is. And then I did some changes to the Trongate class itself. So here's the Trongate class. Like this. Now, to be absolutely sure of how this is working, I'm going to look for get child module just to make sure I've not missed anything. I think that's excellent. So now as we look at our Trongate class, we've got things like upload picture, which is an alias, if you know what I mean, because we do have an image class. But similarly, we've also got this module thing here, which is also, I suppose, an alias. Now I'm going to copy this, head to upload picture, and I feel as if this should go here. We'll keep these ones together. These are all basically aliases, you know. I have to tell you though, I don't understand why that one's requiring an image and that one's not, but I'll figure that out tomorrow. In any event, I'm fairly happy with the state of the Trongate framework here. So basically, the modules class gets a whole load of new stuff. The Trongate class gets some stuff taken off. Okay, so we get that. Commit, heading up to the sky. All right, nice. So now back to the documentation, and you can see that okay. So if we now look at modules within the Trongate framework, we've got run, which is documented. We've got load, which is documented. But now we've got this list thing here. Gavin had suggested put the public methods to the top. And I agree with that. So all right, sending that to the sky. So as we look at our modules class here, we've got load, run, or load, list. Where the hell's run? Ah, there it's right, that's static, I've got it. So it's load, list. Right, cool. So I'm going to copy this, head back to the contributors notes here. Copy. And then we'll go like this. Okay, cool. So now back over to the documentation, we've got a modules class here. And we now have a beautiful little method for you to use and love, and it's called list. And here it is. Saving it. And as we head back to our docs here, there's list. So lists all existing modules. There you go. I don't like the print R in the example. Trongate has got a thing called JSON, which is nicer. So there you go. Interestingly, if we look at our example here, we don't have to load up modules. That happens automatically. So with this framework, we don't have to add this in. So if we go list, there it is. If we go load, now again, I don't think yeah, we definitely don't need to add in that load thing. So for the load example, there's no need to say new modules. Okay. So load does that. List does that. And run looks like that. Just going to check the descriptions. So list default is false. That's perfect. Load. And then we've got run. Okay, 3 cheers for us. So back over to the docs here. And I'm now going to say added feature refs for modules class. That's now done. Heading it up to the sky. And there we have it. Okay, so now if we look at our docs here, we've got our class reference, and now we've got our modules class all being covered here like this. Done a wee bit of work on the framework as well. Our file class is looking fantastic and everything is coming together. One of the things that annoyed me about Trongate for a long time was the fact that we've got this syntax on the framework, which is like this module, you know, like that. But we've also got syntax that's like modules run and stuff like that. It just bothered me, like modules. How do we deal with this? Well, now we know the solution. The Trongate class is going to have these alias methods. For example, upload picture. That is an alias of file upload. Actually, I think it's that. Anyway, aliases all the way. So now it kind of is starting to make a little bit of sense. I hope. Tomorrow, I'm going to tomorrow I think I'm going to have to get my head around I've just realized something. Right, right. That's it. Okay. So let me just check something here. Okay, if we go to the file class and we take upload, now let's go to the Trongate class. Okay, so we've got upload picture. Now I'm going to just say return image howdy. Just going to break some stuff before I finish. All right. So let me go to welcome. Pardon me. Okay, so I'm going to say this, and I'm going to invoke upload image or upload picture. Too few arguments. All right, well, let's just say data is blah. Pass in the data. Okay. Now that says, well, howdy. Now, it's interesting, isn't it, how I've got this require once image. I don't think I need that here. I knew it. I wonder which other require onces I don't need. All right, so if I do that, we've still got this howdy thing happening here. Now, this works. Obviously, if I comment it out, it won't work. But if I say this image howdy data, or that, well, I've just answered a question. So the Trongate framework, yep. Ouch. All right, so basically we can just say return this image upload instead of this. Do you know what I mean? So over to the Trongate framework here. Yes, you can see these two are a bit different, and I'm probably revealing weaknesses in my knowledge here by just even discussing this garbage. But that should go like that. And same thing here. So with this one, you would just say this module's load, and that's it. Okay, that should work. And I'm going to just confirm that it does work before I upload it, and that'll be me for the day. So we've taken this one out. Okay, I'm going to go to tasks, test, and I'll just say this module welcome. Then I'm going to say this welcome greeting. So that works. And the alternative way is, of course, to say this welcome. Nah, it would be modules load welcome, and then welcome Okay, so it's modules load that, undefined variable modules. Okay. I think you'd have to say this modules load. Aha, that's it. That's it. So we have a little correction here. Yep. So when we do the example, we get this. So it's basically that loads up the welcome class. Now, I'm going to look for a word here. Okay, So do you see how this has got alternative method? So, going to jump in here. Alternative method. So when we do load, we've got example usage loads welcome, alternative method. So the Trongate framework provides module. The Trongate the main Trongate class provides the module method as a convenient alternative to the to that. This method offers a semantically clear alternative for developers while using the same core functionality as the load, as the method. Okay, so we now get that. And then example usage of module. So as we do load, we get function load string target module void, and then it goes this module's load welcome. The alternative method would be, and we've done it a million times, right? So it would be this module welcome, something like that. So that's that. The Trongate class provides a equivalent alias to this. This method offers a semantically as the okay, so now we get that. That's it. So we've got now again, if something I just spotted as well, if I head into V2, right, if I take the example that is shown here, existing modules is that, and then JSON existing modules, that's going to fail because it doesn't know what modules is. So you would have to say this modules. So in our Trongate docs here, the example would be that Similarly, well, run's different. But now we've got that. We've got that. Okay, that's cool. So let's send that up to the sky. Added alternative technique for loading module. Just going to say commit. Sending it up to the sky. Okay, so now that we're really starting to get our heads around this, let's look at the Trongate framework here. And these are all looking perfect. Simplified the Trongate class. We'll send this up to the sky. Did I send the other one up to the sky? I think I did. Aye, that's it. Okay, so now we've got our class reference here. The modules class is cool. We've now got a clear idea of how it works. We say this, the class name, and everything's cool. I bet you we've messed up some of the others, and I should probably just super quickly check that before I go. All right, here we go. So API reference, class reference, and again, I'm just looking at the examples here. I suppose the best way is just to read the darn thing, innit? All right, that example could have done with God, these examples are terrible. Because they don't include, they do not include the loading of the class itself. So that would say this file download and so on. So that's something that I'm going to have to figure out, I think maybe tomorrow, because it will take a while, that, you know. If I look at the image class, and again, that should say this image. We now know that. So at least we're clarifying how stuff works, right? At least we've got that going for us. Anyway, I'm going to be hitting the road now. Dan's stuff is here. Thank you, Dan. Thank you. I appreciate you. Dom Sinclair is here. Ahoy to you, Dom. Are there any presentation files other than view files? Templates would be an example. I don't know. I don't know. Carl is here. Ahoy, Carl. How you doing? Then Simon is here. And list all loaded classes. Ah, right, cool. That looks like a good tune. I don't know if I don't know. It might be cool. What was I going to say? If anybody, we've made a breakthrough today, folks, right? Because I hope you realise what has happened here. To be clear, we had, right, I'm gonna draw a line and I'm gonna explain this and I'm gonna ask if you folks can understand what I'm saying here. So the Trongate framework had a couple of little things that were annoying. We had syntax like this, and we had syntax like this, right? These are typically class names, and it bothered me that we had singular and plural. And there's a variety of places where this happens. Like we've got template and we've also got templates. Things like this are annoying, right? There was also a little bit of confusion, and I think there still is, about how the class system was working with Trongate. Specifically, these main classes within this engine directory here. Now I think we're starting to get a little bit of clarity. So for example, when we get something like upload picture or module, well, previously this would have a whole bunch of code in here, and you might say to yourself, well, why is that not in the modules class? That was the state of play 2 hours ago, right? Well, now everything makes sense, because now what we're doing is we're getting rid of all of the complicated code, and we're simply making these things little aliases, you know? That's your vibe. And just to be clear, this code here, and I'll do it on a new file, this code right here is the same as saying, now let me get this right, pardon me, right, imagine we're inside an ordinary controller. If I say this image, say hello, okay, image, whatever, right, welcome, whatever, say hello, that is the same as and then welcome, say hello. So that is the same as that. Does that make sense? Is all I'm asking. Does that make sense? If that makes sense, please do give me an I, will you? And when you think about it, those of you who have used CodeIgniter, you'll remember that they'll say something like name is this host name true. That's CodeIgniter syntax. So clearly, when using CodeIgniter, they decided to favor this syntax here, and that's what we're going to do. Thank you, thank you. I'm glad that makes some sense. I'm kind of just figuring it out for myself. It's just little niggly things that I hadn't quite got my head around, but I'm starting to get my head around it now. Now, if anybody wants to help out with this documentation, I'm going to give you a crystal clear thing with which you can definitely help out, and it would be huge. If we look at our class references, we now know how to load classes. This is the technique here, right? This is how we're going to do it. The challenge is, we've done a few of these, but most of the examples are, well, that one's actually quite good. Do you see how we're saying this modules list? That's the correct way, by the way. Here, this modules load, again, that's perfectly correct. Run is an unusual one that goes inside view files. We don't need to worry about that. But the challenge that we've got, oh, potential helpers, is that if we look at the file class here, the example is just garbage, and it doesn't really show people how this should work. So I'll fix this one and I'll show you what the fix would be, and I really hope that I can talk somebody into helping out with this. So let's imagine that we're going to fix this copy thing. Everything's cool except the example. That doesn't really tell us how to use this file class. So, how would it work? Well, if you look at the Trongate framework, we do have a file thing, and it's got a thing called copy. So all we would do in our documentation is we would say this file loading up copy. And that's your example. That is it. If I save it, and then I'm just going to say correction. And now, unless I'm very much mistaken, I've provided a perfect example of how to use, in this case, the copy method, which is part of the file class, you know? So if anybody wants to help, it would be amazing if you could just go through these and make sure that we've done that. And most of them I haven't, you know? So the way that you get this is you head to the Trongate docs repo. Again, I'll leave a link in the description here. And if any of you could do even just a couple of them, if you've got a few minutes to spare, it would be really useful. I have to go and post a watch that I sold. So thanks very much for passing by. I appreciate you more than you'll ever know. And I hope you have a great rest of the... Look at this, it's getting worse. Anyway, I hope you... I'm going to have to get the fake tan going again.